Hey guys, surprisingly, we're only 6 minutes late tonight. So we may be pushing a new record here.
Yeah, I know.
But we got
Woohoo!
Nice.
Chrissy, we got Tamara, we got Alex, I'm Dennis, Muddy Water Search and Recovery. Mac, Joanne, hope you guys are doing well.
Tell you
And
one thing. It was hot today.
yes, it is.
Like 80, almost 84, 85 here today.
I'm going to turn my volume up a bit.
There we go.
See, tonight we have a treat. Tamara is going to be using her dowsing rods tonight, similar to what she did in the Summer Wells live feed here a while back ago. And she'll take questions, and correct me if I'm wrong, but these pretty much need to be yes or no questions, right?
That's correct. Yep, with as much detail as you can, and you just kind of ask a series of questions. Sometimes is good, getting more and more detail or different aspects of the question as you go along.
So she'll be doing that and seeing what answers come out. Now, some of these questions will get to naming people, asking, was this person involved in this? So, as a disclaimer, kind of what others do who do similar stuff, they say it's for entertainment purposes only. We're looking at it as, do these answers, could they help lead us in a direction in finding Melissa Trumpy and bringing her home? And it just amazes me how this works. I still can't fully explain
I
it,
can't either.
but I'm kind of amazed by it. It's really cool.
Right.
So should we do a quick recap of her story and what we've done in the past with our efforts of research and discussing it on social media, just so if anybody is new in the audience and is watching, that way they kind of have an idea of who Melissa is and kind of her backstory.
All right. I got it. All right. So Melissa Trumpy, 36 years old at the time that she went missing. The date last seen was October 26th of 2021. Last known location was Shannon, Illinois. She's 5'10", 163 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. Melissa was last known to be traveling from Monticello, Wisconsin to Shannon, Illinois in a silver Toyota truck. The truck was found abandoned in Illinois with all her belongings inside the truck. She was wearing a long sleeve black top, black leggings, a black vest, and boots. Several piercings, numerous tattoos, including a full sleeve on her right arm. She has not been seen or heard from since October 26, 2020. So,
And there are a lot of theories out there regarding this case. And I'm sure most of you have seen the episodes. If not, please go back and look. But we did have a series where Ben, who is Melissa's ex and father of her children, joined us on some live feeds to discuss the case. And some of the stuff that he brought out, we had another guest come on live. And then in the comments, the conversation, some of the stuff that popped up and came out was really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So I take it that Shannon, Illinois, and the area that she was from in Wisconsin, Monticello. I take it it's probably just a cross the border situation, like where I live to where Dennis lives.
It's about an hour and a half drive.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because her residence was in Wisconsin, but she had been, according to Ben, she had been staying in Shannon, Illinois with her boyfriend, Derek, because of some legal issues that they were both having, but hers was stemming out of Wisconsin. So she would stay with Derek in Illinois and would travel back to Wisconsin to work and then back over to Illinois afterward.
Goodness.
Then she also had, let's see, it's in here somewhere. She was on medication because she has ADHD, so she was on Adderall for that. And she also allegedly had black eyes 3 days before going missing per witnesses. And the day that she went missing was the day before her court date. And many believe that that's when she was going to turn state's evidence against her boyfriend, Derek Hammer, but she went missing the day before the court date.
Okay.
So with his prior criminal history, it's easy to look at him as like a top suspect type thing. But as we have learned through all the cases that we've worked, sometimes it's not so cut and dry.
That is very true. It's very true.
And you would think if it was that easy, law enforcement would have done moved to do something. Of course, there have been allegations of corruption with several officials in law enforcement. To be honest here, the majority of our cases, we do have at least one person coming out with the same allegations in just about every case. If that's your loved one missing and law enforcement aren't finding answers, I could see where you're going to be upset and jump to that conclusion. Most of the time, law enforcement are doing everything that they can. When it's people that's not related to the missing person and never knew the people, didn't know about the case till they see it on social media, when these people come out immediately screaming corruption, it kind of shows me what their goal is, and that's to smear law enforcement. It's not so much to bring the missing person home. But is there corruption out there? Absolutely. But I don't think it's as widespread as what people make it out to be.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of the questions tonight are going to go along that angle and see what comes up. So at this point, you think we should jump into the questions and get going? And Tamara?
Yeah, sure. No, that works. And yeah, thank you for saying, it's required. We really need to say this is for entertainment purposes only. It's, you never know if the answers are right or wrong, because, I have myself as limitations as well. My goal is to just kind of be as open to whatever answer it is. So, and just a real quick recap on dowsing. It's really the pendulums, whether you're using a pendulum, which I use pendulums quite a bit too, whether you're using a pendulum or whether you're using dowsing rods, whether you're using oracle cards, whether people are doing readings, it's all the same thing. It's just your connection to your guardian angels, your higher self, your spirit guides, whatever you believe in. And this is just a tool. It's not, because a lot of times they say, well, my dowsing rods were wrong. They're just a tool, or they're right. It's just a tool. And it's really just you allowing yourself to get the best answers. I always try to say, I ask for my guides and angels for help. And that's who I connect to. I never connect to whatever is out there, because you don't know what's out there,
Mm-hmm.
So you always want to make sure you're connected, to kind of a higher plane, or just, like I said, just your guides, your guardian angels, higher self, things like that. You never want to just connect to like the spirit in the room, because you don't know who it is. Just because they're spirit, they could be stuck. They may not know all the answers. So, you just want to always connect to your, like I said, at least your higher self. A lot of it is just answers that you already know, but you don't know, It's just basically like your gut instinct is probably the closest thing that people tend to see, you know, or more readily accepting. So like if your gut instinct says this feels wrong or this feels right, it usually is. And it's the same, that's the same thing as that connection to your higher self or your guides, your angels telling you something. And it's just a matter of listening. So, and this is, you know, I do know a little bit about this case. I've been on the calls and things like that, but it's still just a matter of just getting whatever answers it is and just letting it be what it is. So, and I always say this or for something better or whatever is for the highest good for Melissa Trumpy, for her family, for the group here, whatever it is. I don't claim to know anything. I'm just going to hopefully get you good answers and we'll go from there. It just increases the possibility of good things. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I mean, I think it's incredible, the questions that can be asked and it seems like when we did Summer Wells, every question basically caused 5 more questions, and it just caught on like a wildfire. We'll just see what happens, where things go, and how one question will feed another question, and so on and so forth. So.
And then that helps it get more detailed, like what you were talking about a bit ago.
Yeah.
And thank you for explaining that, because
sure.
I am still trying to learn about this, and it's just, I don't know. I'm almost infatuated with it.
It's a different concept. Like I grew up, very, I'm more of an analytical mind. And so I try to think back to like how I think of it. And it's, again, the gut instinct is probably the easiest way to explain it. It's just, again, getting the information you already know, but you don't know, is kind of like that. Or you're getting information from your guides. Like I said, it's no different than anything else that's out there. It's just a different tool, a different method. And then when you do ask the questions, be specific, like you said. So like one example, a story is that, someone asked, like, is this grapefruit? Can I eat this grapefruit? She was in the store and she'd asked and said, can I eat this grapefruit? The answer was, yes, you can eat it. And she tasted it and tasted horrible. And it's like, well, you can eat it. Doesn't mean it's going to be any good. So like, you need to ask, like, is this, grapefruit ripe? Is this grapefruit, unspoiled? Is this grapefruit, the best one in the batch? Is it whatever it is? You go down that level of detail and like, is this good? Is so broad, you want to just go down to that. And your interpretation of what is good and what my interpretation of what is good are completely different things. And even then there's so many different aspects of good. So you want as much detail, but also know it's coming from your perspective too, who's ever asking. So.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
See, it just gets more and more interesting.
Yeah.
The first thing I learned when I was working on healing myself. And so, yeah, it was fun. My teacher was my cousin. I've known him my whole life. And he was like, well, yeah, anyone can douse. And I was like, well, if anyone can douse, that means I can. So I just started trying it. So.
Wow.
We're going to have to do Dowsing 101 classes with Tamara.
Right?
Happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see.
So
I have some shorter ones. It depends on how these look. I have these here, and you can see them this way. But again, for the center, will just be kind of waiting, and if it crosses, it is. You can change it to whatever you prefer. This is I'm going to say this is a yes. And then if it's open, show an open, then this is a no. So that's kind of, you kind of just set whatever parameter it is. I think there's kind of, for raws, there's kind of some standards, but it really doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you. So
Alex, you want to kick us off with the first question?
Yeah. So my first question, and I bet you guys probably know what it's going to be, is, did Melissa leave? Let me rephrase that. I'll start off reframing. Sorry.
Okay.
Did Melissa end up at the airport that night?
I got a no on that one.
Okay. Did Melissa stay the night at the Hammer residence?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Did Melissa, and I know we've talked about these things, so trying to be respectful, did Melissa wake up the next morning after staying at the Hammer residence?
Now I know the case is being treated as a homicide by the police, but is still unknown. One thing that I prefer not to do is to say, whether someone is alive or not. So I just wanted to clarify that it's because it's really important to the family,
Yeah.
So and I don't know. I mean, there's plenty times with myself, other psychic mediums and that have said, oh, this is for sure this way or another way. And it's not true.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is no guarantee. There's no guarantee this is right or wrong.
Yeah.
So your question is, did she wake up? So again, did she wake up at all? Did she wake up at the Hammer residence at some time during the night she went missing or that morning?
Yes.
Okay. I get a yes on that one. But that's very, very general that she was there and she woke up sometime during the night or the morning. So
Was Melissa concerned about her current law enforcement investigation against her?
yes, yeah, very much so. So that was definitely I think a source of stress based on how much it moved. So
Did Melissa go to the old Army depot the day after she went missing?
interesting answer. I kind of got a no and an I don't know. That is very odd. So I would say that's a bit unconclusive, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Usually when I get a no answer, nothing moves. So it just sits there.
In True Crime Tribe. Hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well tonight.
Has Melissa tried to contact anybody since she went missing?
I can get a no on that one.
Mm.
I'll put back the center.
Is Melissa still in Shannon, Illinois?
Oh,
Yes.
wow, that was a big yes. So that one, right? They'd be out of there. Wouldn't it?
Did Melissa use illegal drugs the night that she went missing?
No.
Okay, here's kind of a specific one. And again, going back to the whole disclaimer, entertainment only. Was Derek Hammer with Melissa the night that she went missing?
Yes.
Ooh, goodness.
Dennis, what was the gentleman's name that had the linoleum floor taken up? I can't remember. Um, I just read it today and I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Was it Steven?
Oh, let's see. Sorry, Tamara.
Oh no, it's fine. It gives me a break.
Or Jason?
So there was the lady that came on and she talked with us, and she lived in the same apartment complex thing. Wasn't that correct? Wasn't that lady that came on and said she went down and took the pictures?
Yes, I believe that would have been Renee.
Renee. So my question was going to lead to I guess I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Was Melissa the reason the linoleum had to be removed?
That
I can't even spell linoleum.
Yeah, it doesn't even. Fourth floor. Neighbor said that she tried to get electrical. Nickel, or what is that? Nichols.
Nicole.
I don't know.
And I had just seen it today when I was posting all my stuff. I seen pictures of the actual building with the plastic up around it, and people were talking about it. I'm going through right now trying to find it.
I'm gonna look through these again, just in case.
And it might even be in some of this paper.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay.
I'll find it. I saw it today. I should have
Frank,
wrote it down.
Okay. So for your question, until we get more detail, we can either wait or it can be like, is this
I'm trying to say it the right way and be respectful.
yeah. I think I can start off. Did she see more than one person that night? Yes. Okay. And the person that you're thinking of, did she see that person that night? Yes. Okay. Was she in that person's apartment? Okay. Yes. Okay.
please.
So in that person's apartment, was there damage of some kind to the linoleum? Does that person know what happened? Yes. That's interesting.
That's a good question.
Because what happened is very vague too. So does that person know why she went missing? Yeah.
It's a big yes.
Yeah, yes. Does that person know how? I'm getting a non-answer on that one. That's kind of like I think it needs more detail. But
Yeah.
because I think it's
Question.
no. And I didn't know. Did you want the questions from the chat as well? I haven't seen anything come yet, but
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat and try to keep them yes or no questions and as detailed as possible. And True Crime Tribe asked, are you guys both psychic? Sorry, I missed it. I'll let you explain that one, Tamara.
okay, no, just me. And even then, I'm very familiar with dowsing. I'm intuitive. I'm a Reiki master. I've studied dowsing for, oh goodness, how long has it been? 12, 13 years. Studied under Raymond Grace. He's an amazing dowser because it's all about the energy work, because it's also all about intent too. So I intend and ask for help to get the proper answers for the highest good. So, and sometimes I will get images or I'll hear things as well. So, but I know we're focusing on the dowsing rides.
Sure.
So I guess we could say, is Melissa still at the Tamara residence?
No.
Did Melissa fly in a plane the night she went missing?
No.
No. And I already asked if she was ever at the airport that night.
Yeah.
And that was no.
No, it's still a no.
Oh.
So one question I had, and this is also in general with missing people, does Melissa want to be found? Yes. And then future stuff is interesting. It's not, of course, I mean, if this was easy, everyone would be able to find, there wouldn't be missing people. You'd be able to find, everyone would be able to be found with any psychic at any time. So,
Yeah.
And also future work is always at this exact second moment in time, which means anything can change in the next minute, hour, days, whatever. But one question would be, will she be found at some point? I do get a yes on that one. So.
Does anybody have, okay. Yeah, True Crime said, I think she needs peace for her babies, which is true.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Benny needs to be at peace with all of this too.
Yeah. Yeah, because the more he is, the more the kids can be too.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have never been through anything like this. I can't even remotely imagine it. But
yeah,
there is fighting for what's right, and there's also a certain degree of acceptance. Right? Like I said, there's a certain level of peace too. But like I said, that's hard if you're not in that situation.
Yeah.
Oh, she said her daughter, the oldest, stopped by her Insta and said, "Oh my God, it's Melissa's twin." Oh.
Oh, I want to ask questions, but I feel like,
you don't want to be too leading with it either. Like I said, I really don't want to say or give any indication one way or another. Like I said, you just never know. One thing I'll say this. Actually, I was going to mention this from another case we had, and that this isn't with dowsing. It's more of the technique I learned. And it's like, so if you look at a picture of someone and you can kind of hold your hand up and you just look at their eyes, you want to be able to have a good picture of their eyes. And if you look at it'd be your right eye, their left eye, and you hold your hand up and it's going to be opposite here, but you hold your hand up and just kind of, even like I said, it's just a picture. In person would probably be better, but it'd be kind of weird. But if you see a picture and because your right, their left is really how they truly are. And the opposite side, what's going to be your left and their right is what they show to the world. And it's really interesting when you do that and you kind of see people that for sure, what kind of person they are. It's very interesting seeing that. A lot of times people have a certain way of seeing to the world, that they project out, and then they have kind of their inner truth. And so that's a technique I learned. Again, like everything else, I'm sure it's not 100%, but it's worth doing that, just to kind of see what it looks like. And sometimes sometimes where they're very similar. So
it's a good way to look at it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, our bodies, our eyes, everything kind of, we get all kinds of signals all the times. And so a lot of it's just kind of knowing how to interpret it. And also knowing that it's not always 100%, but at least she gives you a baseline or an idea too. So
True Crime said that hanger sounds scary. Does anybody have any questions for Tamara?
So one of the questions can be, because I know her car was found. What was the name of the road? Was it Brayton Road or something like that?
Give me a minute.
I don't know. That's where it was found.
Yeah, it was just found in Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah. I vaguely remember the name of the road. I don't have it right in front of me. But like one question is going to be, did she drive her truck to that road? And I got a no on that one. So
True Crime said Bolton.
Bolton. Okay. I got the B right.
I'm going to ask this. If the back of Melissa's head hurts.
Right now?
Yeah.
No, it does not hurt right now. Did it hurt the night she went missing? Yes.
Slow down.
Was there someone involved in her missing? Because you have two choices. Did she go missing on her own, by herself? No. Okay. Was there someone else involved with her going missing? Yes.
Ooh.
Was it more than one person? Oh, yes. That's interesting. And involvement can mean a lot of things, but is there more than one person aware of what happened, at least to some degree? Okay, yes.
More than one person.
Are there people that know part of the story, but not the whole story? Yes. That's a big yes. So I do see like people knowing bits of it, at least.
Is Melissa in plain sight?
No, she is not in plain sight. Is Melissa in a place that is considered public? No. Okay. Is she in a place that is considered private? Okay. Yes.
Is Melissa contained inside of something? That's kind of broad.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, it's kind of wanting more information, I think. I think we just need some more. Not quite sure which way to go. Is she
contained inside a septic tank?
no? Okay. Okay.
That's where my questions was. I was trying to pinpoint down the airport situation.
Yeah.
And then the out in the open in public view, meaning along the highway where Derek's dad was.
When the cadaver dogs searched the airport and made a hit, was what they hit on related to Melissa's missing persons case?
Yes.
Ooh.
That could mean a lot of things, but I did get a yes. So
Was a second vehicle used in regards to Melissa's disappearance?
yes.
Did Melissa go in an airplane after she went missing?
No.
Is Melissa near water currently?
So water of any kind. So like rivers, lakes, underground water.
Is she near the Mississippi River?
No. Okay.
Is Melissa in the woods?
Is she in a wooded area?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Surprising.
Okay, this one's kind of morbid, but is Melissa currently in a cemetery?
No.
I don't want to be morbid either, but is Melissa in one piece?
I'm not getting an answer on that one. No.
Did Melissa feel she was in danger the night that she went missing?
Yes. Yeah, so at some point she did. When the last time that she was seen and where she was going, did she feel she was in danger at that time? No. But sometime during that night, she felt like she was in danger. Yes. Okay.
Melissa, can we find you by walking?
Oh, yes. Interesting.
Is she in a shallow grave? And how do I want to?
No.
No.
Is Melissa in a cave?
No.
True Crime asked, is Mississippi near Bolton Road?
The Mississippi River isn't far from Bolton Road, no.
Is she in a river? No. Okay.
And actually, that part of the Mississippi River actually looks pretty shallow. You see a lot of sand there on satellite imaging.
Yeah.
So, is Melissa near sand?
She's near sand.
By the water. Like a beach.
Okay. Is Melissa near a beach? We'll make it specific. No.
No.
Is Melissa near concrete?
Was that no or yes?
That was a yes. Yeah.
Is Melissa buried underneath concrete?
No answer to that one.
Did they use equipment? Let me think here. Did they use equipment when they buried Melissa?
No answer to that one. Was Melissa around? Was Melissa around equipment at some time during that night? Yeah. And we say equipment, like large. Okay, yeah, large equipment. Not
Yes.
just
Like any type of excavating equipment.
yes. Something along that line, apparently. So yes. Not just like hammers or nails, or not this normal stuff you have around the house or things that you would use. So again,
Okay.
this is kind of my perspective. I'm trying to put in how I'm seeing your question.
True Crime just oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
True Crime asked, is she near cement?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a big yes. Yeah.
Okay, I have one. Are there other missing persons cases related to Melissa's? Related to Melissa?
I think that one might need more detail. What do you mean by related?
Connected. Could there
Yeah.
be more than one missing person in a series of missing people brought on by the same perpetrators?
Wow. Yes.
Wow, that was a big one.
That one was very clear. Will there be, I'm trying to find the right words. Is there someone who is at least aware and partial of what happened, who may be willing to come forward and tell at least their part? Oh, yes. Is the local and state and federal, whoever is involved in investigating this case, have they talked to that person? Yes.
Yes.
Are they actively looking into this case on a regular basis? Yes.
Was Melissa buried on a construction site job?
No.
Was Melissa buried on a highway job? I'm just trying to think of things with concrete, with equipment, construction site jobs. Who had connections to those type of things? Because near concrete, possible equipment, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think there's something with that, but I don't know what it is. I'm kind of getting a non-answer, but it's I feel like there's something with that. So I don't know.
Are the people involved in Melissa's disappearance, are they part of an organized group? or are they acting solo? Or
Yes.
acting with,
I was
so.
just thinking that.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Nope. Because when we were talking about cement, all I thought was, cement shoes.
Now, does that organization cover multiple states?
Yes. Is the people investigating this case aware of that? Yes.
Great.
Is that in part of why it's taking, at least one of the reasons why it's taking longer to solve this case?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not related.
Is a how to word this?
True Crime has a question. Does it smell musty where Melissa is?
Oh, yes. It's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Is Melissa at a water treatment plant?
No.
Do you have anything in there about this?
No. This is just all straight up about her.
Is Melissa in Illinois? Oh, yes, to that one.
Yeah, it's just strictly about her.
Does a local city official know what happened to Melissa?
Yes. No, they know for sure. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, nothing about her.
Do
Or his-
the groups investigating this case, are they working to arrest people regarding it? Yes. More than one person? Yes. Okay. Is it also, does it involve other things other than Melissa? Yes. Okay.
True Crime asked, is there multiple levels where she is at?
Oh, that's a good question. Is it colder?
Than the above levels, so maybe underground, maybe.
Is there multiple levels where she is at? So if so, is it colder than the above level? So is there differences in temperatures of where she is located from above her, below her? Yes, it's very general. I mean, there's difference in temperatures where we're sitting too. But I think I know where True Crime is coming from. So I'll kind of ask again with that. So I still get yes with that concept.
Did Melissa spend the night before she went missing at the official's house that knows what happened?
Got a no?
Give her a minute. Let's give her a minute. Tamara.
The pressure changed. Yeah, that was weird.
You need a minute?
Yeah, just some. Yeah, give me a minute. See if we can have some other questions. I'll get a drink.
That's fine.
Catfish made it. Hey, Catfish was late tonight, so he cannot complain the next live feed when we're late.
You all right?
Yep. Yeah, just stretching.
All right.
Okay.
Now, if you need a little bit more time, take your time.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys think of some more questions. I think some of the questions we can think about your goal, but the other thing, and this is something to think about too, and I've thought about this since you asked, Dennis, is that it's so for me, what I believe is your world and your life is your belief and your intentions. And I also believe that you can, how to put this, it's kind of like a prayer to a certain degree. It's very similar. It's basically the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it, but you can kind of have an intention for this case to be solved quickly and easily, again, for the highest good, because we don't know. I mean, maybe there's a reason why it needs to take this long and we don't know. But again, you can still at least try and ask. So I think at the end of this, I'd like to do that too, just to kind of have, and I haven't come up with anything specific. So it'll be, I think it will at the time, just kind of what, kind of like that statement, because it's a statement, but you're still asking. Because like I said, it's about belief. And then you say, this is what you want. And then you let it go. Like one case I worked on, this is several years ago, but it was a case where there was a friend of mine, and was I don't know, it was a relative of some kind. And she was a teenager, and she had come forth talking about molestation, abuse by a sheriff. And she was very concerned for her, because having her go go to trial and be on stand again was going to be very, very difficult for her. But she was willing to do it, so it wouldn't happen to anyone else. And so I just asked, just like any way that this can be easier for her, if it could be not happen at all, that would be best, and I just kind of listed out, what would be the best possible situation for the highest good of everyone. And again, I don't know if I just ask. I'm not doing anything. I am just asking. And I just let powers that be to take care of it. And again, I don't know if I had any effect or not, but I know I talked to my friend several weeks later, and she said that sheriff went into because he was retired at the time. He was retired sheriff. He went into the police station and confessed to everything.
Oh, wow.
And that she's like, I don't know what she did. It's like, it's not me. I did nothing. I just asked, I let them, literally, I was like, whatever you all want to do, whatever you can make her life better, make this situation better for everyone involved. And that worked out well. It doesn't always work that way, but that was one that I thought was, I was in probably one of the first cases that I worked on, and that was a very surprising result. And it was very good for her relatives. So again, everything always works out. Everything always works out for your highest good too. So
wow.
So there's things that you can ask for and you can intend, but then you have to let it go. You can't sit there and focus on it all the time, and because then you're blocking it. Then you're worried it's not going to happen. So therefore you have to keep thinking about it over and over and over again, because you don't have that faith. You ask, receive, and believe. So you have to just believe that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Because again, it's not my life, it's not your life. It's, this is their situation, but you can at least imagine them in the best possible situation. That's the best thing you can do for anybody, is just imagine them the best possible way, the best possible outcome, whatever it is. So. Okay. Any other questions?
Based off the conversations you and I have had on other cases, I do want to ask this. Okay. Does Melissa want to be found?
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked that, or that was asked earlier.
And
it's good to get confirmation.
This question goes more towards those who, okay, I'll be more specific. This is going to go towards us, our team. If Muddy Water Search and Recovery goes to Shannon, Illinois, can we find Melissa?
So is it possible that you could? Oh, yes.
Ooh, that was a big one.
No guarantees, but it is possible.
Do we
Is
need?
it worthwhile to go? Yes. Although sometimes I have to tell you, when I do get, and some of the things you've done, like, is it worthwhile? Doesn't mean you'll find that person, but there may be lots and lots of other reasons why it's worthwhile.
Benny mentioned when Diane called 911, she said, Derek, I can't see that. Unsee that. I forget it. That night she went missing. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That allegedly took place the night that
Yeah.
Melissa went missing.
Yes. Okay. So it was the mother, Derek's mother. Did she see something about that led to her going missing? Yes. Okay. I believe she's passed. I believe, right?
No.
No, she's still around. Okay.
Her actual position.
I don't.
I think it's in.
Yeah.
I asked just in my head because it works well if you ask in your head. Is she willing to talk to anyone about it? And the answer is no.
So, how did I guess I can re-ask this again.
Mm-hmm.
Is Melissa still at the Hammer residence?
No.
And it said no.
That's a no. Yeah.
Did Melissa leave the Hammer residence in the rental truck?
No.
Did Melissa leave the Hammer residence in Mrs. Hammer's vehicle?
Yes. Now I kind of put a caveat in that vehicle or another one. Was it that specific vehicle? Yes. Was it another vehicle? No.
But it was his mother is the one that said, Derek, I can't unsee that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just curious if.
Did Melissa go to Stephen's apartment an hour before or shortly after she went missing?
Did she go to Stephen's apartment that night she went missing? Yes.
Is Stephen's apartment the one where they had to pull out the linoleum floor?
Getting the yes, yeah. Is it, well, this is an easy answer, but are these type of conversations and videos and whatnot helping? Yes. Like I said, I think that's where you have, because it's one thing for one person to have an intention, which again, you can have for your own life very easily. We do it all the time. We just don't know we're doing it. But then when you have a group of people, that adds more to it. And I think that's part of why this helps too, along with just getting the name, but gets people to say a little prayer, do an intention, and that helps. And it can be cumulative. So, yep.
The people that caused Melissa's disappearance, are they still in Shannon, Illinois?
Or at least some of them still there. Yes. Are they all still there? No. But
Here's one that's kind of different, I guess. I requested an FOIA request with the local airport there, and they have no records on file. Did they intentionally hide records, or was there legit no records on file?
so did they intentionally hide records? No. Okay. Are there truly no it's records for that night?
Yes.
Is there
The day
truly
before, that day, and the next day is the 3 days.
For that day? Okay. So for the day before, are the records of no flights correct? Yes. Okay. For that day, the records of no flight, is that correct? Yes. Okay. And the day after, for the records of no flight, is that correct? Okay.
Does Benny know more than he's telling us?
Nope. I hear open book.
And Benny, when you see this, I mean this with all due respect, but it seemed like he was an open book on the live feeds. He had a lot of information, and then conversations that I've had with him.
Yeah, but somebody would have asked that question eventually. So.
Right. Yeah, I had it written down to bring up, and I think Chrissy did too, and you beat us to it.
Is Benny doing everything he can? I see. What I'm trying to say is he able to do everything that he can do for this? Yeah. Yes. So he's doing everything he can to the best of his ability, and more than I think more than he it's just he's doing a really good job. So
yeah,
he's probably doing a better job than he realizes.
Yes. I feel like that's important. I don't know if we'll ever watch this or not, but I feel like that's important for him to know. Everyone's doing the best they can, but he is making a point to do everything he can. So
yeah, because talking with him multiple times, I picked up a lot from him that he feels he needs to do more and he could do more. And then when he goes into what he's done, it's like
it's so much.
We had cases that seemingly nobody outside of law enforcement has done anything for. And to see how much he's done with this case, it's like, man, you've done incredible.
Yeah. I think there's some cases, people will just push and push. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. And I think sometimes it's because I think there's some cases that I felt just intuitively that it's like, oh, this person doesn't seem to care that her husband went missing, and it's not like she doesn't care, and it's not like because she doesn't care that means she did it. I mean, that can be a sign, but I also feel like sometimes there are certain relationships that were no longer working, that we're gonna end anyway. In some of those situations, that the relationship wasn't very good at that time or hadn't been for some time. And for them, again, this is people, I think they also, it's like they're a little bit more on the unempathetic side. They have again, not that they did this is just why they come across that way, is that there is a part of them to some degree that just doesn't care. And it actually works out great in their favor that this happened. And that's a horrible and awful thing to say. And they would never, ever admit that because it's so terrible. But in the end, it's still like, oh, it's just a relief because I was going to get divorced anyway. But again, they would never say that, but that comes across in ways that makes them look like they're guilty, that they did something wrong. Again, doesn't mean that they didn't, but it also, and I've seen this with a few different cases, but at the same point, then it's almost like a distraction a little bit. It's like, oh, well, this person had to do it because look at how uncaring and, they didn't do this and they didn't do this. Again, you have all the drama, what they're saying is true, but it's not that they did it necessarily, but they just, they don't react the same way that we would for our family member. And right. So it's such a big gap. We're like, how is it even possible for you to not, even if you were going to get a divorce, you still would, but not everyone works that way. So.
And going along those lines, I've seen families where somebody in the family would have really bad medical issues and the rest of the family would devote their time to caring for that person. And when that person passes on, you can visibly see relief because the burden's off the shoulders of that family. So I think sometimes it could be similar to that depending on their situation.
Yep.
And then, of course, the time that there's something more sinister.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people try to pin everything on one emotion that they see come from somebody or lack of. Mm-hmm. And we're all different, kind of like what you're saying, emotions aren't a one size fit all. Mm-hmm. It would be nice if it was, but.
So as Diane wore out, what was that about? She just wore out from.
Who's Diane? Yeah, but Benny's the opposite. He's just full on board, just doing everything he can and focusing on. So for him, it's like focusing on as best you can all the positive. Sometimes it's hard to see in this situation, but I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, and this is a good result, and this is a good result. I mean, look at the YouTube videos, getting the name out, keeping it in people's, minds and thoughts, things like that. So it's hard when you have never been in that situation, but I know the best you can to try to focus on, as best you can, what the positives are. And that may helps you deal with it too. Is sometimes that can, like you said, that even cause feelings of relief too. At least for that moment in time, and then just still fighting and doing what is right, what you feel is right to do. But then at the same point, realizing all the blessings, still all the good that you've done, and focusing on the positive as best you can. So, and that's different for everybody in every situation.
And Benny has had to raise him and Melissa's children basically almost alone and not having any answers in Melissa's case. And from what I have seen and heard, he's done incredible with the children. They're not little kids no more. He's done incredible with them, plus fighting for answers for Melissa.
Yeah, the kids are so lucky they had him. I mean, he really just stepped up and was just fantastic.
Benny, I would say that Benny still has very deep feelings for Melissa. I mean, you could tell the way he talks, the way he would say things or mention things, that he still very much cares for her and probably will always have love for her in his heart. I mean, she is the mother of his children and stuff. And I would it would be a safe bet to say that if Benny came on, we could probably do a whole nother show with updates, and it would be everything new we hadn't discussed before. So, but yeah, I definitely feel that, you know, he always had 100%, you know, the best interest of everybody involved in trying to help, you know, find answers. So,
And I'm going to go out on a limb with that, Alex. What I have seen and heard about Melissa, and this isn't just coming from Benny, this is coming from multiple sources. I believe Melissa still had really strong feelings for Benny. She just made some poor choices in life, went off on the wrong road.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Now,
hear.
that would be a good question to ask is, if she could take everything back and not be involved with all these people.
Yeah, she could take everything back and not be involved.
If she could still be with Benny today, would she do it?
Yeah, would she, if she could, you know, hindsight's 2020, but if she could take it back, you know, and not make the poor choices she did, would she? In a heartbeat. So yeah, she would definitely not against 2020. I feel like what I've been hearing is like she's intelligent. She's very smart and intelligent. And it's like I keep hearing she has a good head on her shoulders. But at the same point, it's like a common sense thing. You know, she has something with like a you know, common sense isn't all there. You know what I mean? That's because I hear like book of bad decisions. That's like making poor decisions. You know, she made a series of poor decisions, and a lot of people do that. Doesn't always end this badly, but for her it did. So it's a series of poor decisions, and I think was she close to moving on? Yeah, so she was close to moving on from that. Was she still had things she had to work through? Yes. So I think it was because I felt like the person in question, you know, was very charming in a weird way. I don't know. I hear charming. And that was part of the draw. And like when you talked about when I talked about the eye thing, I did that with him, and on the one that, you know, that's on my right, his left, it was very cold, but also a lot of pain too. So the one that's your true self was more very, very cold, but also there was a lot of deep pain in it too, I felt like, which is probably where it came from. It can come from nowhere. And then also the one that you show the world is just all tough. It's also cold, but it's tough. You know, it had to have a tough exterior. So was that person? I'm going to ask this one because was that person involved in that? You had mentioned that the larger criminal organization. Was that person involved in that? Yeah, larger criminal organization. Yes. Person of interest. Okay. Is a person of interest in that? Yeah. Okay.
Was money exchanged to hide Derek's involvement in Melissa's disappearance?
So was it exchanged with anybody at all to hide? Yes. The first I was interpreting as just to him, and I was like, so I'm just making that. I'll make it a little bit more broad, so that there was some involvement of money to hide. More than one person? Oh, yes. Okay.
Was an apartment fire connected to Melissa Trumpy going missing?
Yes. And I see true crime saying to hide her. I think that's related to the last question about the money. Is that correct? So the question could be, was money exchanged with anyone regarding Melissa going missing, in relations to hiding the crime, okay, or whatever happened, okay, or was it also to involve hiding her specifically? Oh no, okay. It was more of just whatever it was that occurred. Yes, okay.
Was Melissa on a boat or a barge the night that she went missing?
No.
I feel like we need to find that loophole after leaving the Hammer residence. That's the loophole there to.
Yeah. So did something bad happen after? Did something bad happen before? Yes. Okay. So there's, again, bad is very general, but maybe that's something we can do later too.
I mean, I have a question I want to ask. I just feel terrible asking it.
I know.
Did Derek hit Melissa with something?
What's the question?
Did Derek hit Melissa with something?
Did Derek hit Melissa? Yes. Did hit her with something? Yes.
Did Derek hit Melissa in the back of the head? With something?
I'm not getting an answer on that one.
But the answer, well,
Yeah, was definitely hit with something. The location, for some reason, isn't. I'm not getting an answer on the location, but
Was Derek's dad's death connected to the Melissa Trumpy case?
no.
is Melissa in the same area where Derek's dad was found?
No.
True Crime said, "Is there a boat landing near Bolton Road and the Mississippi River?" I would think so.
I didn't see one right there because it's really rural.
Yeah.
But it is still possible. Was Melissa wrapped up in a tarp the night she went missing?
Oh,
Not getting an answer on that one.
was she wrapped up in a carpet the night she went missing?
No, not getting an answer on that one either. Um, so did Melissa travel by car to where she is now? Okay, yes.
Now, I know Alex and I have questioned the airport and possible airplanes multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so far tonight, every question that had to do with airplanes, means of travel, all of that point away from them putting her in a plane and taking her somewhere.
Yeah, that seems to be confirmed. Like I said, there's no, like I said, who knows if it's right or not 100%, but that does seem to be a theme. So
yeah, with all of that, and then all the records with the FAA showing with that correct, and
yeah, because there's the. I mean, it's different because I know it's more of like a crop dusting airport, but it's still an airport. And I know the planes are supposed to, have their transponders on and going, reporting out. But I live here, and then we have crop dusters and whatnot go by, and I have flight radar, and I can see that they're not showing up on my flight radar. So again, if they stay low enough, they technically don't have to. I think it's like, I forget what the level is, 500 feet, something like that. There's a level where they technically don't have to, but officially they still do, still should have it. But I know it's not an always thing. I know like the military has transponders, but they don't have to be shown through that flight radar, so through the FAA. So they're there, but it does not made public, so you can't, like we've seen military helicopters or planes go by. In fact, I saw one the other day going to work, and it was huge plane. I don't know what they were doing. It looked like more like a fighter jet of some kind. Again, we're right near SAC Museum, SAC Air Force, Offutt Air Force. And it was, didn't show up. So I mean, it's still possible, but the FAA would definitely have documentation either way. So they still have to provide a flight plan, takeoff, landing, things like that. It may not show up on, a tracking app, but it still should be something that's in their system. And that's violating that involves a lot of people, because that's not local, that's on a federal level. So
I just, everything we discussed and the things we talked about, at Benny, it just overwhelmingly felt like we needed to look towards the airport. Was
you
she
still can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I agree. But out of all the questions we've answered, there's not one that says, well, maybe just a little bit, you might want to check.
yeah,
There was one that was a little bit with the cadaver dogs. So
yeah.
But I don't remember what was the story about the cadaver dogs.
They
hit on
picked
someone.
up a scent and made a hit in the corner of the outside of the hangar. And surveillance video had showed Derek drive Melissa's truck up to that hangar and was there for 5 to 10 minutes and quickly drove away at, I want to say it was 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
But I asked,
Yeah.
didn't I ask a question that said, did you ride in the rental truck? What, I can't remember what I asked
Yeah,
now.
you asked if she was
asked
at
if
the
Melissa
airport.
was in that truck that night, and the answer was no.
Yeah, did she? So yeah, so after, so the way I interpreted that question was after, the time she went missing. Was she in her rental car after that point? And the answer was no, if I remember right, or at least that's how I saw the question. So to me, that means she wasn't in that truck, and no, she was not driving that truck either, though. So someone else drove the truck.
Yeah. Well, somebody could have, not to say this in a terrible way, but somebody could have stepped in something and then walked in there and had it on their shoes and left some kind of scent, trail, something or another.
I did consider that, and I talked with, in fact, one of the ladies we met at the farm show.
Yeah.
And if they would have stepped in it, it would have been tracked all in more than one area. But the only hit they made was right there in the corner.
Okay.
Really? Oh, that's interesting then. Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing, that it'd be something that you would have just taken with you. So,
But the human cadaver dogs did confirm human remains were in Derek's bedroom. Right when they were pouring the concrete, December.
so that could also be, again, that doesn't mean that they are potentially, because I actually saw another case where, again, the person wasn't in the room, but there were biologics of some kind that were left in the area that was hit, that's what led to the hit. So, and it was, I think when they found out, it was like, this was a story that was in Spain, and like the dogs hit multiple times in an area. And by the time they got the full story out, the dogs were right. Something had happened in that area. They just weren't there anymore. So,
In True Crime Tribe, I get tongue tied with that. Asking if we have searched the Mississippi numerous times. If so, what states? Just trying to learn your services and such. We have not been on the Mississippi yet, but we will be in the future. We do have some cases that's leading us that direction. One case that we've worked on pretty public, and Alex knows well from the dig they traveled down to do, Mark Fullerton. There is some things that's leading me to parts of the Mississippi River. And then again, there's several other cases that are leading that direction as well. So we will be on it in the future. Before we can make plans for that, we've got 2 other searches that we were supposed to do a week or 2 ago.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the rain and stuff that come down, it was going to be way too dangerous to put divers in the water. So we still have to get down to do those searches before we can plan any other out-of-state searches. But you will see us on the Mississippi at some point. And I have to admit, I kind of dread that because the Missouri River, it's dangerous in so many ways, but then the Mississippi River in some areas is almost a mile wide.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Minnesota, please. Egan, Bryce, Borka.
Of course, yeah.
We've actually got a few cases out of Minnesota.
Yes.
I keep looking at our case list and thinking, oh my goodness, that's a lot of people missing. But then when you really look into how many people's missing, it's just astronomical.
Yeah.
And I don't have that case on our case list, but we could definitely look into that one. Now, I'm not familiar with Minnesota, so I'm assuming that's a name of
Yeah,
a
it
missing
is.
person.
It is.
Yeah, I've never seen that name come up on anything because that is kind of a interesting name.
I know it's a guy. He's looking it up right now. Hold on.
October 30th, 2022 is when he went missing.
Yeah. Goodness.
Okay, Egan is the city at Fort Snelling State Park.
Oh, they run a nonprofit for families, Bryce's Blessings. Oh, I
Oh,
like
wow.
that. I
Wow.
like that.
Say another case we have is going to take us to Lake Michigan.
Mm.
And then, of course, we also have, I can't think of it, it's the one with the 5 missing on it.
Is that Ontario?
Yes, Lake Ontario.
Uh,
Oh.
shoot, I can't remember what that case is called either. That was the 5 boys that went out on a boat, right?
Yes. And the only thing that has been found is the gas can that come from that boat eventually washed up on shore. It's believed that it sunk. The weather that night, especially a boat that small, nobody should have been on in the daytime even. And it was nighttime that they went out. Believed they had been drinking going into that. And
Hmm.
another sad case of bad decisions and
Yeah.
things not having a good outcome.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm 45 now, so I could say we were all young once. We've all made our share of bad decisions, and thankfully,
Yeah.
we're not just here, but we've been able to learn from those and grow. But looking back now at decisions I made when I was young, it's like, how did you get through that?
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, some people don't get through those. And I can't say they're at fault for it because they're just having a good time. But it
I-
seems more sad that way.
I wonder if at any time it crossed at least one of their minds, we shouldn't be doing this. But
From my experiences young,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
When we're young, we tend to live for that moment.
Yeah.
And
that teenager part. Yeah, you just think you're invincible too. You know, you can just nothing's a problem. So
I think at worst, I live with the pain of it, all the aches and bumps.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Did you guys hear the story on Brendan's finding? Ryan Robinson found him. His gold cross was still on him when he found him. Very glad he's been found. Very thankful for Ryan for not giving up and being there and bringing him home. And True Crime Tribe, also, I want to say thank you for everything that you do. Giving a voice to the voiceless, it is just such a great thing and is so helpful. And it does help bring answers forward and bring these people home. So keep doing what you're doing. If there's ever anything we can do to assist, please get a hold of us.
Yeah. Sure. Just once a day sharing stuff can help, bring awareness, any way, shape, form, for sure.
I try to go on Facebook and TikTok every day and share some cases, even if it's not cases we've been asked to work on and I see the flyer. I still share it to help get it out. I try to do at least 4 or 5 a day on Facebook and TikTok. And then TikTok especially, it notifies you when somebody shares your post. And I put a flyer out there of a missing person, and within an hour it was shared like 150 times. And so very thankful for everybody sharing the cases and doing what they can to bring them home. Something I hear a lot is, well, due to my age, due to some medical issues, or due to just lack of time and other commitments, I'm not able to do anything. But you are able. Just sharing the flyers, so incredibly helpful. So there's something all of us can be doing. And no single part of this is more important than the other part. It's just all a working mechanism working together to bring answers.
Yep, that's true.
And if you are law enforcement watching this, I know you get a lot of negative heat out there, but we appreciate each and every one of you. And I say this, and I want to highlight New Jersey, a sheriff's department there, and I won't give the specific department, but we had mentioned that we were going to kind of start getting into some of the unidentified deceased people. They have been found or they're in a hospital and they haven't been able to identify them. Recently, I come across a post on Facebook that was an unidentified deceased lady out of New Jersey. So I cross-referenced with cases we had out of Jersey, and it wasn't one of them. So a Facebook search of New Jersey missing persons popped up several groups. I went in the first one, scrolled down a little ways, and I found a lady that's missing less than a month before the deceased person was found. Their photos are almost identical.
Oh, yeah. The photo of the missing person and the deceased person is what he's talking about. So they're almost identical. So
I reached out to the sheriff's department there. The first lady I spoke to, in all honesty, I don't think she was understanding what I was trying to say and why I was calling. So she transferred me to another individual. And well, after talking with them, this person got me transferred to a detective. And the detective was incredible. She listened to the details. She didn't fully understand at first, but after having a conversation, she realized what was going on and took all of the information. Said that once we got off the phone, she was digging in and moving forward with this. So, very thankful they took the time to listen. They didn't just completely blow me off and hang up the phone. And hopefully we hear back one way or another, but even if not, hopefully a family is able to get answers with that. But very thankful for them and for law enforcement in general. Here in Leavenworth, Kansas, the Leavenworth City Police here, I think they're incredible. We have worked a little bit with a detective here. She has been incredible. The Leavenworth County Sheriff's Department, they get a lot of criticism up here, and I think most of it is unwarranted. If you don't want to pay a ticket, don't break the law. It's not the officers. It's not the officer's fault you chose to do 30 miles per hour over the speed limit and got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there bad apples again in law
Oh, yeah.
enforcement? Yes, there's bad apples in every single profession. But what you don't hear is, let's say the cashier at Walmart messes up and overcharges you by $2. You don't see people going on social media and blasting every Walmart cashier because one person messed up. We
Yeah.
shouldn't do that to law enforcement, because I promise you, those saying that, should you ever find yourself in imminent danger, the first thing you're going to do is call law enforcement to come rescue you.
Yeah.
So let's be mindful of where we place blame and hold ourselves accountable when we do wrong. Now, True Crime Tribe, Overton County in Tennessee, and I've stated this before, I would wager to say is the most corrupt county in the United States. Um, Talked to Tamara one night about this, and I do have to keep my emotions in check, particularly with that county. I did receive a threat sometime back from an official there. Um, Sir, I hope you're having a nice night. What I told you that day still stands, and I'm going to say it with a smile. But I will be going to Tennessee, and I will not stop searching till those individuals are found. If you have a problem with that, that is something that you will be able to discuss with the judge overseeing your case when that time comes. You know, that's the law.
Yeah.
But that Overton County, wow,
When I read
that
that, I went, "Oh my gosh, Denny, look!"
that hits my, just the name of that county hits my ticked
Yep.
off button. But I'm trying to be good. So, deep breath. Good things are going to come out of Overton County.
There you go.
So, coming back over to Melissa Trumpy, Mac brought it up earlier that Benny has joined us on 3 Life each year. We had the 3-part series. I would like to reach out to him and invite him to come on for another round if he's willing, and have a part 4 and see where that goes. Keep in mind that Chrissy is going to have part 2 of his name?
Richard Dean Jones. And I did a little bit more today. Boy, there's a lot of new things that we need to talk
Yes.
about that when I read them, I immediately went, okay, where's Denny? I got to tell him. Because it was just kind of shocking and weird. And
I will say
Yeah.
this, with all the work we've been doing, I had just kind of laid back on the porch swing
yeah,
and was trying to relax, and she come out going over this, and it brought me up off the
Yep.
swing. I mean,
Yeah.
so she's got some big updates, I guess you would say, coming
updates,
up.
new statements that were made.
Wow.
A lot that made me kind of think to myself, seriously? And then he kind of, felt the same way when we heard them. But yeah, there's part 2 coming, guys. I'm trying to get as much as I can. So
I think part 2, when it comes out, we're all going to
Yeah.
find it to be rather revealing.
yeah. So yeah.
Interesting.
And we will update you guys when we're not live and kind of
Yeah.
fill you guys in on what's going on. But it's
Yeah, there was a couple of times, like I said, I had to go find. I mean, I just was like, I gotta find Denny. Move, get out of my way. Dead. Yeah. Yeah. If the kids are in the way, get out of the way.
a lot of the questions that we had, Alex in particular, she found answers to.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like I said, during my first part of it, when I first did the first video, that was just kind of a get it out there. But now I've taken, more steps now, and like I said, I've found quite a bit that kind of made my mouth drop a little bit, and at the same time going, oh, that makes sense, and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah,
So now that we've left all of our viewers hanging,
now it better come up good now.
and
Max says,
Max says can't wait for part 2.
Okay, well,
And then there's another case that Alex brought up, and Alex will end up covering this. That one was interesting as well. And I know Tamara has some stuff coming up, so there's no time frame on this, but she will be covering Chance Engelbert in the coming future.
Awesome.
Yeah, that case I followed for a while. I think I found out about it about, I don't know, less than a year after it happened. And yeah, it's definitely interesting. I know they're still looking for him. So, and they don't really have any, they have some leads, but nothing really concrete. So
Yeah, his stuff just kind of planed out and nothing changed.
yeah, it's a tough one. So
Seeing Tamara off screen, I'm going to have a question for you on Chance Engelbert.
okay.
So, guys, was there anything else anybody in the comments wanted to add tonight? True Crime Tribe, thank you for being here. And again, if there's anything we can do to assist, our website has contact information, and I think our email. I think I put all of that in the video description tonight. But please feel free to reach out. The website also has phone numbers for myself and for Alex. Alex is the vice president of Muddy Waters. I had went through to get the 501c3 nonprofit status, all of that stuff, went through a law firm, and turns out everything that we discussed in the contract that I signed was 2 different things.
Yeah.
So I paid out a lot of money and essentially got nothing but because I made the mistake and not fully reading the contract, they got me. But we still have our board set up that we had going into that, and Alex is the vice president of Muddy Waters, and been incredible since the time that he come in to the team, even before that even. But
Thank you.
you're welcome to reach out to us at any time.
Yeah.
And Mac, it was good to see you too.
Did you want to do? I kind of want to do that statement.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I came up with it. So,
Oh, yeah.
kind of just again, just met again. However you see it, it's just asking. Like I said, it can be like a prayer. It can be like just asking your guide, your guardian angels, higher self, etc. But so this is, I wrote it down as we were talking. But so, what I see is just to imagine Melissa being found soon, and her family getting all the answers they need, and any justice called for occurs quickly and efficiently for the best possible outcome and for the highest good of all involved.
Mm.
And so
Amen
it kind
to
of leaves
that.
it open for whatever is the best scenario. But if, again, you can kind of just visualize it or just say it either way, and just imagine that this is the way it works. Is you imagine and feel especially the feeling, feel that relief of like, oh, she's found, everything's good now, because that also makes it feel more real. And then you just let it go and just let it be. You can do it like every so often, once a day, as long as it's not like, how do you say, like, as long as it's not like routine, and also if it's not like desperation, because desperation, then that blocks then too. So just that, or just say again something similar that works, but just kind of just imagine that. Imagine her being found and feel that relief. It's just wonderful for her family. They have the answers they need. They are getting their justice they deserve, and everything is working out for the best for everyone involved. And then just let it go, and who knows?
Yep. I like that.
Well, thank you very much for doing this again and covering another case with Tamara Magic. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to say magic because magic is fake and all of that.
Yeah.
So I need to find a new word for you.
God.
Magic is just science we don't understand yet.
Yeah,
Hey, there
I
we
agree.
Because magnets used to be magic, so
That is true.
same concept. But yeah, it's I don't know what to call it, but yeah.
So thank you everybody for coming on and joining us tonight. If you have any information in Melissa's case, if you have anything you would like to add to this, or locations of interest, anything, if you're not comfortable putting it in the chat publicly, our website is in the video description. There's avenues that you could take there to get that information to us. We will keep you 100% anonymous. The only two ways we will ever share information from a source outside of our team is number one, with your permission, or number two, we feel that you are involved in committing that particular crime. And I guess I do have to say number three, if law enforcement were to bring us a court order demanding that, we would. But we would be keeping that information confidential, so it's kind of hard to think of those others. But please reach out to us anytime. Thank you for being here. Until next time, you guys stay safe, and let's continue to do everything we can to bring Melissa Trumpy home. And without a doubt, Melissa Trumpy will be found.
Night, guys.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.